What is going on? I am Dave, 10-year intellectual property attorney, dealing with everything from trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets, as well as patents. And today we actually got a good one here. Stellantis, formerly known as FCA, formerly known as Chrysler, has just received a patent on a multifunctional hood for the EV. We're going to get off all into it. We're going to read an article, take a look at some of the pictures, and I'm going to let you guys know my thoughts as a 10-year intellectual property attorney. And I have a pretty extensive background, not only with patents, not only in the automotive industry, but with these Dodge Ram vehicles. For those of you who don't know, I probably write 40 to 50 patent applications every year. That's almost probably almost once a week. I write a patent application, and a majority of those applications come from the automotive industry. Here, being in the great state of Michigan, you're going to do a fair amount of automotive patents, whether it's working with OEMs or suppliers, things of that sort. And again, I have wrote a lot of, or I'm intimately involved with the Dodge Ram truck specifically, not from my current position, but at a former law firm where Chrysler, Stellantis was the client of that law firm, or is the client of that law firm. And I did it all from the body structures to the actual battery structure, to different load paths, to the battery cells. I've kind of done a lot, and I still do a lot in the EV space, electric vehicle space, from a patent attorney perspective. So you're getting a treat from somebody who kind of knows what's going on as it relates to electric vehicles, as it relates to the automotive industry and these trucks. So I'm going to need you guys to hit that like button as we get started here, as well as to the extent that you're not already, subscribed to the channel, Everything Intellectual Property. Please hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the IP community. And I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, and just be thinking about this as we're going through the actual article and kind of taking a look at some of the pictures. Would the features, the multifunctional hood of the Stellantis Dodge Ram, would this utility, these different features, make you buy not only an electric vehicle, but would that make you buy an actual Dodge Ram EV? For those of you who don't know, the Ford F-150, the Ford F-150 Lightning, that's already out, and that's actually a dope vehicle. Then you have, on the GM side of things, you have the Chevy, the Chevy Silverado EV. So they have their electric version of the Chevy Silverado, as well as you have the GMC Sierra EV, which I think those two vehicles from GM is already out. So when you're talking about the big three, Ford has the F-150 Lightning, which is out. GM has two versions of the electric vehicle truck, the Sierra as well as the Silverado, which is out. And Stellantis, they've kind of been dragging their feet a little bit on the actual Dodge Ram, which we know that's their pickup truck. That's kind of still in the works, and I think it's scheduled to be launched here 2026. So they're a little bit behind as it relates to releasing their electric version of the vehicle. And as I kind of pull up this article, I want you guys to let me know, once we get done with this, would these different features of a multifunctional hood for the Dodge Ram truck, would that make you essentially buy an electric vehicle truck, particularly in light of the other two OEMs that we talked about in terms of the big three? So here it is. A shout out to Robert Miller. It seems like this is his article that he wrote here a couple of days ago. Stellantis patents innovative multifunctional hood for EVs. And interestingly enough, the multifunctional hood, or in other words, the frunk is what they call it. For those of you who don't know, electric vehicles don't have an internal combustion engine, which is typically held in the front of the vehicle. Instead, with these electric vehicles, you have a battery that's underneath the vehicle, and therefore you have this space, which again they call a frunk, which is the storage space, similar to what you'll have in a trunk, since it's at the front and it's the trunk. That's where the name frunk comes from, for those of you who may be wondering where it gets the name the frunk. And all electric vehicles, in other words, will have this. So the Teslas will have it. The Ford has a Mach-E that has it. All the electric vehicles will have this frunk, where it's essentially the storage compartment in the front of the vehicle. So this is not necessarily new to the Dodge Ram truck. And actually, interestingly enough, this picture is an old frunk or trunk. It's not indicative of what they just filed or just received patent protection on. Let's see here. Let's go through it. The shift toward electric vehicles has revolutionized automotive design, prompting automakers to rethink spaces traditionally occupied by internal combustion engines, or ICE vehicles. A recently unveiled patent granted to Stellantis earlier today in the USPTO takes this evolution a step further, proposing a redefined hood design that prioritizes accessibility, ergonomics, and user convenience for the front cargo compartment, or frunk. So again, I talked to you guys about the frunk. Again, the frunk is not necessarily anything special or in particular to this Dodge Ram truck. All electric vehicle cars as well as truck has these fronts at the beginning, at the front of the vehicle, and is essentially a storage compartment. Since electric vehicles do not have engines, they don't have to worry about locating the engine in the front of the vehicle. Instead, they have these batteries that are at the bottom. So this is actually a figure from the actual patent application or the actual patent, and I actually couldn't find the patent. I typically would like to kind of pull up the patent, go through the claim, see what it is that's protected, and also teach you how to read a claim set, because that's the most important part of the patent. It defines the scope of protection for that particular invention. I wasn't able to find this on Google Patents. Now, I didn't do a deep dive at the United States Patent and Trademark Office website, but I didn't find anything at the U.S. On Google Patents. And that's not necessarily out of the question or unusual, especially if you're talking about, they said what today, which was at the time of this article, December 5th. So typically, it takes Google a couple of days before they can update their patents that show up on their platform. So it's not necessarily unusual that this patent I wasn't able to find on Google Patents. And I'm sure if I was to use the USPTO site or another paid program that I actually have access to, I would have found it. But again, this is the actual patent, and I can tell this is a utility patent because it has reference numbers. You see the 10, which is the vehicle, I'm imagining, 22 and 24, which essentially is the doors of the front. So you see essentially this front is just one door essentially that opens and closes, whereas the new multifunctional hood is what they call it, has two doors. So it's broken up. So essentially this hood is broken up into two different doors, which you will see why it's like that in a little bit. But 22 and 24 are essentially doors. 18 is the body of the vehicle, I would imagine. 14, it seems like maybe this door opens up as one big door as shown at the top, but it also can be two separate doors, 22 and 24. I have not written this particular patent, but I'm familiar with these type inventions to the point where without looking at the patent, I can almost tell you what these reference numbers are going towards. So this is figure one. And going back to what I was saying, I know this is utility patent because of the reference number. If this was a design patent, which I would imagine and I hope that Stellantis has filed for design protection on this, because it is definitely different compared to what's out there as it relates to the fronts that you see that's similar to these, with just the one door that's opening and closing. You have these the front that has essentially two doors. You can definitely get a design patent on this. But if it was a design patent, you wouldn't see reference numbers. Design patents typically don't have reference numbers, whereas the utility patent has reference numbers. So that's another thing to kind of turn in terms of adding value and how you have a design patent or you're looking at a design patent as opposed to a utility patent. Let's continue on here. The patent introduces an advanced hood concept, specially designed for vehicles that utilize their engine compartment as cargo spaces. Again, front vehicles, electric vehicles. Unlike traditional hoods that open at an angle of 45 to 50 degrees, this innovative design opens at angles of 90 to 120 degrees, offering superior clearance for loading and unloading. Interestingly, most of the patent drawings show this design on the Ram 1500 REV. So again, this vehicle is a Ram, essentially a Dodge Ram, but it's the electric vehicle version of the Ram, suggesting that Ram may expand its reputation of functionality from the rear to the front of the vehicle. This new multifunctional hood design complements Ram's already patented multifunctional tailgate, which has been celebrated for its versatility and practical applications. Now, I'm not going to pull up this multifunctional tailgate, but I can tell you, if you're not new to the channel, if you've been kind of looking at these videos or following these videos I've been doing on these trucks, I actually wrote the patent or a number of the patents for the multifunctional tailgate. Again, when you're talking about patents, it's typically you have family of patents, where one family, which again a multifunctional tailgate, I will say is considered a family of patents. Within that family, you have a number of individual patents. So a family can have 100 patents, it can have 10 patents, it can have one patent. But I can tell you that multifunctional tailgate, from me working on it previously, has a number of patents within that family, and I worked on a number of patents within that multifunctional tailgate when I was with my old firm. So again, it's pretty cool when it says this new multifunctional hood, a design concept already patented, a multifunctional tailgate. So in other words, the multifunctional tailgate, it has these doors similarly on the back of the vehicle, the tailgate of the vehicle. Typically, tailgates have one door that kind of pivots down and then pivots back up, pivots down to the open position and then pivots back up to the closed position. Whereas the multifunctional tailgate that Stellantis has on the Dodge Ram truck, it has a similar concept where you have two different doors. So the doors kind of can form one tailgate that pivots down, but then as you see here, the doors on a multifunctional tailgate can pivot outwardly separately from each other, similar to this multifunctional hood. So it's pretty cool that they're referencing some work or some patents that I've kind of done in the past with Stellantis, that being a multifunctional tailgate. So cool for them. That makes me feel good. So additionally, the side profile of the patent drawing resembles the design Stellantis teased for a mid-sized Ram pickup truck during the company. So it seems like they kind of hinted at this back in 2021 presentation on some EVs. Again, this is a closer look at it. This is the front. This is not the back of the vehicle. This is actually the front of the EV vehicle in figure 2, where you have, we talked about those doors 22 and 24. In figure 1, you have them being in an open position, and then this space 12 is the cargo compartment or the storage compartment. So that's good stuff. And then they're just kind of talking about different benefits of it. You can tell, and this is one of the cool things about a patent. You're not limited to just showing one embodiment. So this is one embodiment where you have the doors that are essentially pivoting from an open position to a closed position. But in figure 4 here, you have like the doors, as opposed to having those two separate doors, you have this kind of door that is an accordion shaped door that kind of open and closes, like you have on like blinds to a house, or blinds to a closet door, whatever the case may be, in there indicated with 40. So again, that's another embodiment, which again, you can put all these different embodiments in the application, whether or not you use it or implement it or manufacture in a car with this accordion shaped door. Again, still put it in the application and worry about whether or not it's going to make it to manufacturing or be manufactured later. Again, they're probably most likely going to manufacture, if anything, this multifunctional hood with the two doors here, as you see in figure 2 as well as figure 1. However, this accordion shape and shown in figure 4 is another embodiment. I think they have one more in figure 6 maybe, where not figure 6, but see, this is the regular. Figure 7 was indicative of the actual main truck that you see here. I'm not sure what's special about figure 7. It seems like your traditional hood, but something may be important that I'm just not appreciating from not having a pan in front of me. But again, figure 9 is another aspect of it where, okay, we talked about have you had the two doors that pivot outwardly away from the vehicle or towards the side of the vehicle. Then we talked about the accordion doors. Now this 22 and 24 is some doors that kind of pivot up and down. So again, these different embodiments, you're putting all this stuff into the patent application just because it doesn't hurt you to do it. Maybe cost you a little bit of money with your attorney, but in other words, it doesn't hurt you, especially if you are not knowing which one you're going to go into production with. So again, those are my thoughts on it. I want to hear from you guys though. What does this multifunctional hood, like I said, your boy worked on a multifunctional tailgate. Go check that out. Just type in multifunctional tailgate in Google, the Google search bar, and it's going to show you that tailgate of a Dodge Ram truck that not only kind of pivots down like this regularly, but the doors can kind of pivot outwardly independently of each other. And it seems like they're taking that same concept to the multifunctional hood of the Dodge Ram EV version that looks to be coming out here in 2026 or the next year or so. And again, as opposed to having that hood that just goes up and down like a regular hood, it does that, but also it has two separate doors that kind of go outwardly, as well as a lot of different other embodiments or versions of it. So you guys have to let me know, to the extent that you have a Ford F-150 Lightning, or you have GM Sierra, or you have the Chevy Silverado, the EV version, would this multifunctional hood make you switch over to the Dodge Ram? Or you like, nah, Dave, I'm good. I'm going to just keep with my Lightning. I'm going to keep with my Chevy Silverado EV. I'm going to keep with my Sierra EV. I like this. And yeah, the multifunctional hood with Stellantis, yeah, that's cool, but I like my EV truck the way it is. So you guys have to let me know in the comment section. Again, please hit a like on this video for the YouTube algorithm if you enjoyed this. And to the extent that you are not part of the IP community, please hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the intellectual property community, the IP community. And again, you never know, man. One day you may be looking at like, man, this guy helped me out to get my trademarks protected, get my patent protected, and essentially providing a lot of value so that you know more, going out than you did coming in. And again, it can work to your advantage. You're talking about generational wealth. This is a big piece of that, having that IP protected. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care. Peace.